Entrepreneurs, are you trying to make bigger profits in your small business? If you're like most of us business owners, increasing your profitability is always on your mind, and you're probably looking for ways to grow your revenue while growing your company. Well, you found a podcast that shares ideas that help you do just that. I'm Marcia. I'm a business growth strategist and a profit booster. I've helped tons of small business owners to establish and implement a tangible plan that guarantees increased profitability, guide your growth, and plans for a future exit. Because building a highly profitable and sale-ready business creates a win-win scenario. And that's more money now and a windfall when it's time to let go. And I want to share strategies that I've learned with you on today's Profit with a Plan podcast. But before we get started, I have a super powerful training that I've got going on that I think you all need to participate in. It's great. It's called the 30-Day Profit Booster. And this is where I'll show you how you can, get this, boost your profits 45% in just 30 days, just by following a simple 3-step method that doesn't require that you're chasing more customers. This quick and easy profit boosting strategy can be done without spending more money on marketing, hiring additional staff, or working longer hours. Go check it out for free at 30dayprofitbooster.com. All right, I'm excited to have my guest on today. You guys are going to love her. Malvina Messler is a powerhouse quantum success coach, speaker, author, and Paris retreat host extraordinaire. As the former executive and co-founder of a national franchise brand, Malvina helped dozens of entrepreneurs build their American dream. In her extensive career as a business coach, Malvina noticed that there was no amount of business strategy that could compensate for the gaps in the mindset. Since then, Malvina has made the commitment to dedicate her professional career to helping entrepreneurs break through the ceiling of their success through neuroscience and quantum strategies so that they can make an impact that they were born to make in the world. With her background in and mindset expertise, Malvina empowers women to unleash their inner CEO energy and design their careers on their own terms while leaving the rat race behind. She has done that just by redesigning her own life to be bicontinental. In the winter months, Malvina loves to ice climb in Colorado, but in the spring, she's living it up in Paris, hosting her signature retreats for high-achieving women. As the founder of a national franchise brand and the former chair of Women's Franchise Network in Colorado, she is a force to be reckoned with in the coaching world. Welcome, Malvina, to Profit with a Plan podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Woohoo! I'm excited too.
Yeah.
Hello, digital nomads and entrepreneur. I love your company.
Thank you. I think it's fantastic that we women can take the world going and make an impact. And note, audience, this conversation is not only for women, it's for every business owner that needs to be able to take it to the next level and break through that ceiling. So, I love to start this off, Malvina, with just a little bit of history and, why did you get involved with franchises and then roll into this mindset thing?
Great question. I come actually from Poland. So if you were thinking this is an Eastern Texas accent, you were close, but not quite. It's Eastern Europe. And I grew up in times of communism. So I knew completely different reality where capitalism and the privilege of owning your own business was not even available to us. And so I really seeked out to be in America, the land of the free and the land of opportunity. And that really brought me here. And entrepreneurship is one of the most powerful vehicles to really experience the freedom that we all seek. Whether you're an employee or a business owner, we all want freedom. And so franchising is such a beautiful concept. I had a privilege of finding some really great business partners, and we started a franchise concept, oh gosh, almost a decade ago. And I will tell you, I fell in love with that industry because it really helps families and individuals to really get their chance at the American dream, which is business ownership. So I learned a lot because franchising model is all about systems systems and processes, which I know you probably love. And when we talk about profitability, I know that's something that's really important to you. We know that a business that's got those systems, that's got processes, that's got the formula that's replicable is where the value is in that business. So I learned a lot. And during the journey, I also noticed that even with the bulletproof system, there was a difference in the performance of some of my franchisees. And, it's easy to just blame it on lack of commitment and other factors. But what I really was seeing is that, that no amount of business strategy, and business strategy is definitely critical, can compensate for gaps in the mindset. And ultimately, I came to conclusion that your business will never outperform your mindset. And that brought me to really go from business coach to dive deeper and develop myself as a mindset coach to bring that skill set to my franchisees and then to my other consulting clients. And when I married the two, that was the explosive growth strategy. And ever since, I built on that, which brought me to the quantum strategies today.
Wow, love it. I love how it all just kind of merged together and happened. Serendipitous, that one thing led to the other, that led to the other, that now is where you are today. My company evolved very similarly. One thing led to another and, evolved into where it is today, but that happens over time. I love the fact that you really brought out the point that, systems and processes are really super important, duplicatable, easy things that can be done on a regular basis and give you those points that you can grow your business on. Question for you, though. Where does the mindset really need to be? I mean, we're not talking woo-woo stuff here, right?
You know what? That's what everyone hears when they hear mindset, and the reason for it is why we go to this is woo-woo, because we don't understand it and there's not enough mainstream information about it. But the truth is that everything I teach is based in neuroscience. It's based in quantum physics. It's based in psychology. So understanding of our nervous system. So it is science-based. And the fact is that right now, the biggest and leaders of the world, of the business world, are tapping in not only to their IQ, which is what we've all been accustomed to. That's why we go to college to develop our IQ. But in probably last 20 years, we've embraced also our EQ. And remember when talking about our emotional intelligence was woo-woo, and now we can, right? And now we can even imagine a leadership program in Harvard or any other reputable institution that doesn't include emotional intelligence as part of that development. And so in today's world, we have another type of intelligence that is very much celebrated and developed by the leaders and business owners, which is SQ, and that stands for spiritual intelligence. And that really talks, juicy stuff. And as esoteric as it sounds, it really brings us to tapping into our inner compass and that inner knowledge about ourselves. We sometimes call it intuition, because the truth is that we can hire consultants and coaches that will advise us on possibilities for our business or our life. However, we always know that aligned path that's right for us, that we get to choose, that is unique. And I love working with clients on finding that their zone of genius, that unique recipe that works for them. So when it's applied and when we can put them in that zone of genius, they can be in that flow state, so they can really operate at the highest peak performance. And that leads to scaling your revenue and your impact with much more ease. And we know that you get to differentiate yourself from competition much easier when you're not trying to be someone you're not, but rather you embrace who you are.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So how does one do that? Right. I mean, we all have, I'm sure most of us have heard this kind of stuff, but really, truly, how do we make it come alive in ourselves so it can be an impact in our business?
Well, there are many ways to approach it. I feel like the best way is to really get to know yourself. And it sounds very easy,
Look in the
However,
mirror, right? Marcia, there you are. You know, you 2 eyes.
yes, let's start there, but I will tell you that during the peak of my career, I actually didn't know myself. I
Mm.
was on a hamster wheel. I was achieving for the companies I worked, for the clients I worked, for my stakeholders. And yet, truly deep down, I was on that hamster wheel doing, because I was running away from myself, because I didn't really know who I was, and I didn't want to sit down and really confront myself. So I know that my sense of self worth and that self love was probably really low, and so that achiever path was my way to feel more worthy. And certainly, from looking from the outside in, it looked like I had the best life, and yet deep down, I knew that there is another level of quality of that professional career. And it wasn't until I really truly started sitting down with myself and asking the questions, okay, what did I just adopt from the society, from other entrepreneurs, from the ways that things are done in my neighborhood, right? In my business groups, versus what is truly aligned. That's when I really found that gold mine, so to speak. And one of the things that was born from that true alignment and putting aside what didn't belong was my Paris retreat, which as a coach, I can coach people in many different forms. And yet I don't know other coaches that do it in a way I do it in Paris. So it's so unique to me. And that was only available for me to birth to fruition when I allowed myself to be myself and not someone else. And every business owner has that unique formula based on their experiences, their past, even the pain they went through, even the things that didn't work, right? Because when you're an entrepreneur, you must have had a lot of experiences that didn't work
Just a
until
few.
you got to just a few. So bringing it all together and really owning it, that's usually what leads to that success formula for all of us.
Love it. Love it. And so when you're talking about the results that you get when you finally fine tune with yourself and you understand how, your past experiences have brought you to here and your unique ability to serve your own audience, whether it's in a service business or you're doing plumbing or accounting or what have you, selling retail, that personality also acts as an attractor to your ideal audience, right?
That's right. You become a super attractor because people who align with you based on your core values, but also your lifestyle choices, really gravitate towards you. And we know that niching down is a term we use in business and in marketing, is the most powerful and also most cost-effective way to grow your business from marketing and sales standpoint. So what a better way that to niche down to be who you truly are and really own that domain and be an expert in it. So people see you as that because you embody that.
I love it. I love it. All right. So is there any kind of process that one goes through to find themselves and use this? Or is it just, it sounds like it's kind of a lifelong journey that you're going through, right?
It sure is. And that's what makes it fun. And the truth is, especially as entrepreneurs, we know that really well, that we're never staying the same. We cannot step into the same river twice. And that is very true, especially for those entrepreneurs that are committed to their growth journey. So I know your clients and everyone probably listening is listening because you're all looking to scale your business, to take it to the next level, and also take your life to the next level in terms of that time and money freedom. And ultimately position your business for sale, right? For the exit strategy.
Love it.
So with that, we start, I always talk about my 3 pillars. And the first one being casting a vision, because in our Western world, we really embraced the goal setting process, and you can't really function in business without it. And certainly,
well, you can. You're just not going to get anywhere without it.
Yes, that's right. So you can't thrive without it, but you can function. That's true. So I was the queen of SMART goals, and if you know this acronym, it stands for measurable and attainable goals. And what I found is that there is one more component that we get to invite to this formula, which is vision setting, because our goals truly are supposed to support the vision. And when the going gets hard, it's that vision, that greater vision, that really will pull us to greatness, that will give us that boost of resilience and determination. And so I would invite everyone to start by answering this question: what is your vision for not just business but life? Because business is not separate from our life; it's just one domain.
It's one tool in life.
Yes, it's one vehicle, how we actually make an impact. So look at this. What is it that you're longing for? What do you want more of? What discontent are you experiencing in life? And you've been just putting up with this and just saying, okay, I'll deal with that. What are some things that you no longer are willing to tolerate? And when you really get clear on those things and do it regularly, you're going to start getting clarity on that profound vision. And when you get that clarity, then you can align your goals with that. And then you start aligning your mindset with it. So that's the part where we start looking at what's in our subconscious mind, because we actually have two minds. We have conscious mind and subconscious mind. And most of us entrepreneurs are really good at using our conscious mind, which is setting goals, setting the direction, strategy, tools, making phone calls, all of those things. But what about our subconscious mind? So when we set out to do something with our conscious mind, it's not actually conscious mind that fulfills upon it, because we only use it about 5% of the time. And that's the neuroscience part here.
Isn't that amazing though? We don't even realize that the thing that we're consciously doing is only 5%, but the other 95%, like breathing, we don't think about breathing, right? We don't think about walking and talking. It just happens because our subconscious mind runs it, correct?
Absolutely. So you're talking about the power of subconscious mind in assisting our conscious mind, and it works on autopilot. So I love that symphony. When I discovered that, not myself, but when I learned this, it was just profound. And I thought, okay, how can I really tap into more of the power of subconscious mind so it can support me? And the key here is that before we can pour into our cup, so adding more information or learning tools, we gotta empty this cup. And I don't know if you see it working with your clients even on different strategies, but I would imagine that it applies to everything. Before you can activate this new marketing strategy that will be fantastic for your business, you gotta kind of clean the cobwebs of, get rid of the stuff that doesn't work, right? So you can make room for what is gonna work.
I love that. We often forget that. Here I'm getting ready to take this long journey and I'm making room, I'm getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff, and it becomes freeing and opening. And I'm sure that that's a huge piece that many business owners forget. How do I clean house, clean the closet out, clean your mindset out so you can move to the next level? Never thought about that one. That's really good, Malvina.
Mm-hmm. And it's so simple, right? Anyone can do it. And,
just forgotten.
Right. And how many business owners I talk to often, their biggest complaint is that there's not enough hours in a day, and they're overworked and they're heading for burnout. So first, before adding more to your plate, remove things that you can say goodbye to. And then you can really start adding. And so, one of the things you can be adding is really conscious work on managing your mindset. So when we're removing on a mindset piece, we're actually removing beliefs that no longer serve us. Really easy example is that when we're young and maybe we're gung ho, we want to build our career and we're willing to work really long hours and we have the energy for it because we're young. And then it comes to the point when we think, oh, maybe I'll start a family. So suddenly we get to what worked for us, showing up for 12, 14-hour days may no longer be in alignment with starting a family or having children and so forth. And it doesn't make it wrong. That strategy wasn't wrong. So I feel like a lot of times we get too attached to making our belief right or wrong or good or bad. And the truth is our beliefs are neither good or bad or right or wrong. That's just what we believe to be true. And so we got to ask ourselves the question, is what I believe about this phase of my business, of my life, is supporting me, is empowering me, is serving me, or it isn't? And I've noticed that that's typically what holds entrepreneurs back in going to the next phase of their business growth. Because
I was just going to say that's really powerful, though. When we're thinking about opening that space, right? So we can add more in, reevaluating. And I like to do this every year, is to reevaluate whether it be the people or the items or the things that I'm doing that did work and didn't work, or things that are moving me forward or holding me back. And when you can free off the things that are holding you back, or, not friendships that aren't serving you, relationships, friendships, business relationships that are no longer serving you. And if you can move those to the side a little bit and focus on the ones that are, it opens the door for new opportunities. So I think these are really, audience, these things are really key behaviors that are often fogged over or mislooked at, or maybe not given enough weight in your decisions on what you're doing, and how these kind of ideas and concepts and beliefs are definitely holding you back, right?
Yes, 100%. And I love that you brought up evaluating the relationships, even, memberships to organizations, things like that.
Exactly.
I used to be a loyalist, and I proud myself at this, that I was loyal, but it was to a fault. So I outgrew something wasn't in alignment anymore, but because I once said yes to it, I felt it
you
was
had
just
to stay.
my ongoing. Yeah, and this was my belief. No one expected that from me. However, I believe that. So that was one of the beliefs I had to shift for myself. And I really learned when I really studied this, where it came from. And there is a psychological phenomenon. It's called loss aversion bias, where we are more committed to protecting what we already have because we don't want to lose what we already have. Oftentimes because it took some sweat, equity, and time to get to this point, rather than looking at what we could possibly gain if we release this. So one of my clients was a lawyer. She had a long lasting legal career, and she wanted a change. She experienced burnout. It took several years of that dysfunction when she realized, and she had beautiful family. She really, she was about 40 years old. She thought to herself, wow, I really see myself doing something different. But cultural programming and the society, everyone was telling her, but how can you, when college education, becoming a lawyer takes so much, it's so costly, when it takes so much time, where, we know that it took a lot for her to get to that place in her career. And so she left the field, didn't even know what she was going to do. And that was the biggest energetic clearing process for her. Once she emptied that cup, the world of opportunities showed up, and she now is thriving in a different career. And that, what I see a lot of times, is can be challenging. So instead of focusing on what we get to lose, we get to shift our focus to, again, the vision-driven thinking. What is it that I can possibly gain from embarking in this direction?
I think it's fantastic. It's opening that door. And, many of us listening are not in the career we went to college for, or we're not in the first career we're in. We may not even be in the second or third career we're in, but it takes time to find that space and evolve. Like we both said, you know, both of our businesses evolved into what we're doing. And I think by evolving like that, you know, we don't think of it as change, but we think of it as evolution or innovation or improvement, right? In a positive look at it. And what I've experienced, and I'm sure, Malvina, what you've experienced in your career by opening that up, and the changes that come with it have been fantastic and a blessing along the way.
Oh, absolutely. Every single time I took an inspired action despite of my fear, I got 10 times more from taking that step. And I love that you use the word evolution. And actually, that statement that you shared with us, that's a perfect example of an empowering belief. Someone can be talking about change as change is scary. We've heard so many of those stories. And you just demonstrated how you can look at change in a different way, looking at it as evolution, as some process that leads you to more possibilities. So that's where it starts, with low mindset shift. So we can start opening up the realm of possibilities, because, you know, I used to run this series of events called Become a Boss Babe from the Inside Out for young female entrepreneurs. And I, as you know, I also organize self-love retreat for high achieving women. And why do I do that in addition to everything else I do? It's because what I see, especially for women, that of course we know there's inequality in pay, and it's gonna take apparently 300 more years before everything will be truly even, which is a big statistic.
And by then we'll be run by AI anyway, so what does it matter?
Right, totally different world. However, I see that, you know, because so many generations talking about cultural programming and neuroscience, from one generation to another, our moms, our grandmas, from one generation to another, we've been transferring that certain model of behavior. And for us women, we create our own ceiling a lot of times. So embracing that growth and opening ourselves to opportunities is on us. So we can start inviting those opportunities, because I see still too many women, even if opportunities are showing up, we're still not saying yes to that opportunity. We're still not saying, pick me, I'm worthy, I'm capable. Right. So that's a big passion of mine, to still work on that.
I love it. I love it. This has been really great. You've given us insights and so on, but you've talked about 2 pillars. So what's the third pillar?
The third pillar is actually installing new habits, through which we're actually changing the neuroplasticity of our brain. That's right. We have the power to change how our brain is designed through new habits and new beliefs. And so we can strengthen certain neural pathways, we can build new neurological connections, and that comes with consistency. And so any new practice we want to build into our whether mindset or our operating system as an entrepreneur, we get to repeat it and continue it on a daily basis until it becomes our norm. And the truth is that, you know, I often talk about this analogy when it comes to changing from one phase of your business to the next phase. I talk about, you know, what does a seed need to do in order to become a tree? Think of yourself in whatever phase of your business you are, and the listeners, let's call it a seed phase. And a seed is fragile, delicate, it's flat, you can barely see it. While the tree is robust, it's strong, it's growing, right? And that's where we're heading with the growth of our business, positioning it for that nest egg and that sale, like, eventually. So what does the seed have to do? Well, of course, we want the environment, we need the water, we need the sunshine, all of those things. But on the inside, the internal thing that the seed needs to do is it needs to relinquish being a seed, so it can become all that it can be, which is a tree.
I love it.
And so the same applies to us as entrepreneurs. If we want to get to the next level, and you might be bringing some awesome strategies to your clients, And sometimes, I don't know if you've experienced it, there may be some resistance because it comes from that fear and that loss aversion bias. So what we get to do as an entrepreneur is get to ask ourselves a question. Am I willing to relinquish that identity of, let's say, six-figure entrepreneur or a small business owner with just 2 employees, and allow myself to step into this new identity and become all that I can be to go to the next level? So maybe scale by having systems and automations, or maybe give up the identity of doing it yourself and actually outsourcing.
Yes.
And that is where the mindset supports the business strategy.
I love this. This is so great because people aren't thinking about that they have to step out of who they were. I mean, we all know that phrase, what got you here is not going to get you there, right? You have to change and improve and evolve and become a better leader. You have to become a better provider. You have to be a better teacher. You have to be a better, your product has to improve. Otherwise your competition will outperform you. I mean, there's so many things that we have to do to be better, right? Which is the innovative side or the growth side of any business. And I've said this 1,000 times that if you're not growing your business, you're dying, right? You have to constantly grow. And that does not mean market domination like Amazon. It just means you have to continuously improve and grow and become better to keep your business ahead of inflation and all the other anchors that are coming at you. But you're so correct in saying that it starts up here in your mind, and you have to prepare yourself for the next version of you, the next version of your company, so that you can step into that version and continuously move your business forward.
100%. And I invite everyone to have self-compassion during this process, because it's easier said than done.
Myself grace. I have to tell it it's okay if it didn't happen yesterday. What do you mean?
There you go. Progress over perfection, right? And I always believe on a quantum side of things, I always believed in creative mistakes, because a lot of times, my biggest breakthroughs in my career, in my life, happened thanks to the breakdowns that I had. So there is actually a quantum success formula that the bigger the breakdown, the bigger the breakthrough that follows it. And a lot of times our ego doesn't want us to fail, doesn't want us to stumble. Our ego wants us to be perfect and comfortable and look good, avoid looking bad. But the truth is that the quicker we get over ourselves, which is energetically what happens is we don't give in to our ego, which is ego's job is to keep us small and in a comfort zone, but we give in to our higher self. And our higher self is that aspect of us that is capable of reaching those bigger dreams, having those milestones met, and achieving those huge, unbelievable goals, not just for ourselves, but for the impact on our family, on our community, and on the people we get to serve.
I love it. It always comes to mind, when you fall, you always have to fall forward, never fall backwards, right? Fall forward, pick yourself up. You're at least a step ahead of where you were before. So
I love it.
That's great. Malvina, this has been fantastic. And I know the audience have gotten some gemstones in here that make them think differently about how they're pursuing their life and their business. Where can listeners find out more about you and your methods, so maybe they can get some ideas and help to improve?
Absolutely. My website is malvinamessler.com. It's MALV as in Victor, INA, MESSLER. And I also have a little gift for everyone. If you're curious about the neuroscience of change or the evolution, whether it's business or personal life, I prepared a Get Unstuck guide that will help you understand the psychology and the science behind everything. So hopefully it will empower you to take that action in service of your goals and your dreams. And it is going to be shared right underneath our podcast episode.
Love it. Love it. And you know what? We can all use a little help to get into something that we try and shove under the rug, as we talked about in the beginning of the conversation, that we tend to forget this side of our business toolkit. And I think it's very important. I know it's very important for us to focus a little bit on that so we can be stronger, better, and grow our companies and grow our lives the way that we want them to. So yeah, I definitely encourage you to take advantage of that workbook and the steps on how to improve it. And since we're all business owners and we need to know how things work, I love the idea that you're giving us the science behind it.
Absolutely. My pleasure. I stand for helping entrepreneurs work less and live more.
Love it. Love it. All right, listeners, thanks for listening today. I hope you found a couple of ideas to put into your business that will help it be more profitable. I know that resetting your mindset, getting through the change and continuously changing and evolving so that you can become a better company, better people, better life. Well, happy business, happy life, right? Instead of happy wife, happy life. I don't know. I'm
like
here today, but it's all fun and it means that, we become better. So, all right. And as I mentioned before, if you would like to boost your net profitability in just 30 days, come check out my new training called the 30-Day Profit Booster. Remember, this quick and easy profit boosting strategy can be done without spending more money on marketing, hiring additional staff, or working longer hours. Go get more information at 30dayprofitbooster.com. And Malvina and I would love to hear your shifts. What changes do you have in front of you? Maybe tell us of an experience where a change in the past skyrocketed you forward and what you did. So comment on today's thread. Let us know what it is, and we will respond back. And while you're at it, please subscribe. You don't want to miss future podcasts. And you can catch Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast players. And we're looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thanks, Malvina.
Thank you, Marcia.